Hi, my name is Allie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about 6 self-care tips for teenagers. These are all tips that I believe are doable for teenagers, and as I got older, something I realized was that our mental state can actually be controlled by the actions we take, which then in turn can decide how we feel. Our feelings do not have to be in control and decide our actions. Number 1, journaling. You can do any sort of journaling that you want. One of the things that I like to do is a gratitude journal where I write about 3 to 4 things that have happened in the past 24 hours that I'm grateful for. This way it keeps it very fresh. And sometimes if you do regular gratitude journals, you can sort of get stale thinking the same things over and over. That's why if you really think about what happened in the last 24 hours, it kind of makes you really appreciate about what's going on in the moment in your present life. You can also do free thought journaling, which is where you just every day write 3 pages. You completely mind dump, write whatever you want. It could be, I'm tired, I don't want to be doing this. The sky is gray, it's raining outside, ugh, I have school. Whatever it is that you need to just kind of get everything out of your brain so you can kind of focus on the day. Another way that you can journal is to write out your problem. You can literally write out what happened from beginning to end, how it made you feel, all the things you don't want to be feeling about it, but you are feeling about it, maybe some of the things you've learned from it, and then maybe pick ways on how you could solve the problem and maybe who in your life can help you with it. And you can also journal before bed. You can literally just write about your whole day, what happened, how it made you feel, was there, I don't know, whatever happened in your day, just to get it out of your mind before you go to bed so you can relax and go to sleep. There's honestly no wrong or right way to journal. I just think it's a very therapeutic process that has really helped me. And like I said, I mostly stick to gratitude journaling at this point. It's what makes sense to me and what helps me become grounded and grateful for what's going on. And when stressful things happen, I've been able to reflect on my past 24 hours. So it kind of helps me be like, this is okay, this is not the end of the world, sort of a thing. Number 2, find a friend or an adult/parent that you can communicate your problems to that's going to be a positive friend. They are going to listen to you, they're going to respect you, they're going to acknowledge your feelings and not wash over what you're experiencing. And I know as a teenager, because yes, I was a teenager myself, being vulnerable is probably one of the most scariest, hardest things to do, and it's absolutely the last thing you do not want to do, but it is so important to your mental health to have people in your life that you can talk to solve your problems. Otherwise, feeling left alone and in the dark is one of the worst feelings ever. And this was something that I really struggled with because I didn't understand what a good friend was. So I kind of kept my feelings in the dark. And I, was torn between fitting in and finding popularity, struggled with connecting with my parents. So I was like, I don't really know who I'm supposed to turn to. And then I did have good what happened to my voice? And then I did have good friends to turn to, but because I was so hyper-focused on fitting in, wanting to be popular, that when I had these good people around me, I was so clouded and struggled to see judgment. So I completely understand that this can be a difficult task. So if you're really struggling to find a friend as a confidant, that's why I also suggest turning to an adult or a parent. And I understand that obviously sometimes we can't tell our parents everything, or maybe you just butt heads with your parents and you guys just don't see eye to eye on things, and you don't have that level of, let's say, Rory and Lori relationship that you wished. But that's why I also say an adult. Growing up, when I was my senior year of high school, which was one of my toughest years, luckily I had a school counselor, which I know is very rare. I've talked to other people about it where most school counselors don't want to hear about your problems, or they're just there to be like, hey, you're failing. I was able to fortunately talk to my senior counselor about everything that was going on, because there was a lot of family stuff happening, which was partially why I was failing some of my classes. And she was fantastic. She was there for me. She listened to me. She never once judged me. And it gave me this safe zone that whenever I was having a bad day, I could go and see her, and she always left her door open for me. Another possible thing you can do if you're struggling to connect with a parent or someone at school that's an adult, maybe you have a friend who you're really close with and you need more parental guidance rather than a friend. You can talk to their parent about it, someone that you trust and you know that they'll be there for you in the way that you need. I had a few friends' parents growing up that were very easy to talk to. They were much more on the laid back side, and it just made it easier to connect with them. Because sometimes I think when your parents are your parents, they worry about you and they want the best for you, but they're also so concerned and scared about what could happen to you that it is sometimes hard to make a good judgment call. So cut your parents some slack, and also if you're struggling to find friends and if you're also struggling to find a good good friend, cut them some slack too. So I wanted to give you some signs of what a good friend is, and this is just based off my experience and what I take to be important to me. Someone who actually listens, you know, they don't cut you off, they're not on their phone, they're not waiting for you to finish right away, because don't you just hate that when like you're pouring out your heart and soul, someone just completely misses like the whole story and they're like, wait, what'd you say? And it's like, I can't repeat that again. Like, it was so emotional and you want me to go through it again. So yes, make sure you find someone who listens, they're not on their phone, and you know, they give you eye contact, your full attention. You also want someone who doesn't judge how you feel, because when you're a teenager, I mean, even as an adult, we can have very irrational feelings, but especially as a teenager, it's a little sciencey, but the frontal lobe of your brain is still developing and everything feels like the end of the world because you haven't completely developed into a full adult. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling like everything is the end of the world, or just whatever it is you're feeling. Like, it's not wrong. You're completely in the right. You're allowed. It's how you're processing. It's how you're growing up. It's how your brain is developing. It's just the way that it is, and it sucks. And so it's important to have someone that validates your feelings, because it's the only way you're going to feel safe about continuing to talk about your feelings. And someone who loves and accepts you for who you are, because we're all different. We're all unique. We all have different sexual preferences. We all have different ways that we identify within our gender. It could just be also little quirks about who you are, anything like that. Find someone who loves and accepts you exactly as who you are, so that way you feel you have a safe space to talk about anything that you may be feeling or concerned about. And also make sure there's someone who's positive, you know, sees the glass as half full, and they don't put you down. Anytime there's any negativity, it's gonna make you closed off and not want to share those feelings. Find someone a little bit more on the happier side. And make sure you're also a good friend in turn, because you want to be a giver. You don't want to be a taker in relationships. And when you have just all the giving and the loving, it's great. Number 3, spend time with your family. I know this might sound absolutely crazy, because spending time with friends is way more fun. And like I said, I was playing the popularity game in high school, so I had a lot of ups and downs with this. Sometimes maybe you have a brother or a sister that teases you, or you feel like your parents just don't understand you and you don't see eye to eye. All these things are very possible. But at the end of the day, I think it is important to find a way to have a healthy relationship, because let's say, for the sake of this one, you do get along pretty well with your family. It just doesn't sound fun. And you'd rather be off doing something else that seems cooler, or just something that's more in your interest or up your alley. But the thing is that your family is going to be there for you, hopefully all the time, and they hopefully also accept you for who you are. I feel like family helps you become more present, and it slows down time, and it just makes you really appreciative for what's around you. You can have lifelong friends, but there also is going to be a lot of up and down with friends, lots of up and down with relationships. And I feel like family is kind of like the one safe solitude that you can always go to. And growing up, I noticed that a lot of my friends around me had really strong dynamics with their family. And I was like, I want that. And it's like, well, you got to hang out with them to create that bond. And this book I'm reading right now, The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, it's a bit more for adults, but I think there are helpful tips for anyone of any age in there. However, she mentions that through her studies, when she was working on wanting to have more relationships, and whether those were with friendships or family, one of the studies she found that said the more you spend time with people, the more you grow to like them and things about them. Perhaps you don't know your family like as well as you thought, because you know, we can tend to take those people for granted, and we spend so much time with them that we're like, oh, they're this way, whatever. But eventually, if you spend more, you can get to know their quirks better and understand who they are more, and you might realize you actually do like them and spending time with them. Number 4, find a hobby. This can be absolutely any hobby. Maybe it's you want to learn how to play an instrument, so you can join band or learn how to do it on YouTube. Maybe you want to start reading more. Maybe you want to learn more about the language you're studying at school, so you join the French club, or you create your own French club, or my favorite, make your own D&D campaign. Whatever it is, I think it's really important to have something outside of school. Your hobby could be with your friends. So it's just important to have something else going on besides like the stresses of school and the stresses of trying to fit in and be popular. You want to find something that really feels like you, and it's safe, and you're passionate about it, because this is also going to grow your creative thinking and your problem solving skills. And we as humans thrive in growth. So if you're constantly working on something that you love and you're honing in on it, you know, and you're pushing yourself and challenging yourself to do better for you at a level that's manageable, that's going to bring you so much joy. And even better if you can do it with friends, because then you're just knocking off 2 things at once for your mental health. Number 5, this one might feel unmanageable, but try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, or even just do that Monday through Friday. I mentioned this one because for me, when I was in high school, the only year that I actually slept incredibly well was my sophomore year, when I was on the dance company and I had to go to school early and rehearse before all my classes, and then I would be at rehearsal late till like almost 8 at night, and I would come home and I was so exhausted I would immediately go to sleep. But I would do a lot of my homework while I was at practice and I was not needed in that dance or such and such. So I found pockets and areas to do my homework. But I slept really well, 1, because I was getting exercise, which I'll get into later, but 2, because my body was on a consistent schedule. And also, we need at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep as human beings, because when we go to sleep, our body is doing a lot of things. Our brain is processing all the information that we've learned the day before. So if you have, a test you're studying for, or you just need to retain everything from class so you can do well, your brain has to have the time to do that. It's also digesting our food, which gives us nutrients and our energy, and also our gut health is what tells our brain how we should feel and think. So that's also important. Basically, imagine like if you charged your phone, but it only got about 50%, and then you pick it up and use it the next day, and you have to use it every second of the day, your battery starts to go down faster and faster and faster, but you keep making it do more and more. So it already can't do what it's supposed to do at its full level capacity of 100% battery. But now you're asking it to do that and try and stay alive. It's just gonna keep going down. And our bodies give us a lot of gifts. Like, I know it sounds cheesy, but we have to take care of it. Otherwise, we can't do all the things we love. We can't, be in healthy relationships with our friends, be in healthy relationships with ourselves. We can't take care of our brain, which stores all this cool information that we love doing and we love having knowledge of. So we gotta love it and appreciate it. Okay, number 6. So I mentioned this before, workout. It can be anything that you love. I would say just do it 3 times a week. So you can do dance, you can do HIIT workouts. There's so many of them on YouTube. Maybe you are interested in lifting weights, or you can join the track or cross country at your school. Join a sports team, or maybe you want to do running by yourself. Pick an activity that you can do 3 times a week, but most importantly that you enjoy. I've experienced myself, I've read studies about it, and so many people who have anxiety have expressed that working out really does help to calm their body, and it calms their mind for whatever it is they're dealing with. It works so many different things in our body, and it's so healthy for you. So if you can instill this habit in yourself now, it's gonna be great. You can do it on the weekends, and then maybe pick one day during the week where you feel like you can actually commit to doing it. It could just be going for like a hike with your friends, or maybe you walk home from school if you live close enough to do that. So there's a lot of options you can try, but I just feel calmer and cooler, and I think it just also just gets out like anything that you're stressing about. Start to look forward to working out, and I know that when I wake up the next day I feel absolutely better. And I really wanted to share this video because I've just noticed in the self-care community that there really isn't much out there that is adaptable to teenagers, let alone people who work Monday through Friday 9-to-5 jobs. They're mostly catered towards us creators who have very different lifestyles, and it's related to what we do that benefits us. And that's totally understandable because you have more knowledge over what you do and what your life is, and that's what you want to share. But I didn't necessarily come from completely being, freelance. I came from more of like a 9-to-5, or rather like 14-hour days of working. So trying to find how to manage self-care routines in very busy schedules can be really hard. And then especially as a teenager, because we're not taught how to take care of ourselves. It's something that I myself, still am 30 years old, I'm still learning and teaching myself about how to take care of myself in the best way to be able to live in joy as much as I can. It's a journey, and you have to put in the work every day. So I hope these tips help you. I feel like they're definitely applicable into your lives. So if they've worked for you, or if you're going to try them out, please let me know in the comments. Or if there's other things that you do yourself that help you, I would love to hear about them. All right, thank you again. And if you liked this video, please consider subscribing and hit the little notification bell. It all really helps. And if you want to follow me on Insta or the Twitterverse, those will be down in the description below. Bye.